What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Taurean Rain Reloaded channel. If you are new, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to go ahead and hit that bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Comment, share, all of that good stuff. So I am here today to talk about the not so friendly neighborhood staunch dub S geek of YouTube, Ryan Kinel, aka RK Outpost. Now, I did a video about him back in March when he pretty much went on this whole minstrel rant about the casting of black people in the Batman. You know, he got upset about that and people called him out on it. And he's one of those people where I talk about where I say when PC men in particular use that word woke, and it's amazing that I put that as a post on my Twitter account a few days ago. As a matter of fact, I'm recording on this video May 15, 2022. So it was probably like last week at the time of me recording this video. Of course, by the time y'all see it, a week or over a week would have passed since then. About how when PC men use that word woke and how it's really them saying how PC men are not in the spotlight, or they're being replaced in the spotlight by someone who is not PC. So, in case y'all are unaware, Disney Plus is releasing a Percy Jackson series. Now, Percy Jackson was a movie that came out back in, I want to say 2010. I think the first one came out in 2010. I can't remember exactly what year it came out, but I actually saw the Percy Jackson movie. And I actually liked it. I didn't really care for the second one, but I did see the first one because I actually did like the story. I remember Brandon T. Jackson was in that movie as well. And I enjoyed it. You know, it is what it is. But now that they're coming out with a series for Disney Plus that's going to be multi-episode and a multi-episodic series. You know, not just a remake of a movie. So now they can expand the story a little bit more just beyond what we saw in the movies. But Ryan Kinel is upset. And y'all can look at this picture and pretty much guess why. He is mad for no reason. He's just mad to be mad, or he's mad for views and clicks as he usually does. Because one particular character has been race swapped. Even though two of them actually have. One of them he's giving a pass to because they had Brandon T. Jackson in the movie and he's not really so on it. And you'll hear what he has to say because I'm going to play the audio. So this is going to probably be a pretty lengthy video because y'all know I like to stop and go and like critique, but his video, his little rant is over 7 minutes long. So who knows how long this video might actually be with the stopping and going I'm going to be doing. But his rant, his little minstrel rant, is more honed in on this young lady right here. And I need to find out what her name is. Let me pause right quick so I can find out what her name is. All right, I am back. I had to find out her name. Her name is Leah Jeffries, and she's playing the character of Annabeth Chase. Now, in case y'all are unfamiliar with it, Annabeth Chase is what you call a demigod. She's half mortal, half goddess. So she comes from, you know, a human and god lineage, and I believe she is a descendant of the goddess Athena. So she's going to play a pretty pivotal role. If y'all saw the Percy Jackson movies, you'll pretty much get an idea of where they're going to be headed at with her character. So she's going to be playing a very good, interesting role. And I can't help but think that's another reason why Ryan Kinel is pissed about it too. You know, seeing a black female, because I'm not sure her age. I don't want to call her a girl or a woman, and she's not, and I'm aging her. But I don't want to de-age her either. So I'm going to say a black young lady, a black young lady playing a character that has the word goddess attached to it. I can't help but think that's the same thing. Now, based on what you're going to, let me not even jump the gun. I'm going to go ahead and get into the article, not the article, but the audio. And you'll hear his little minstrel rant. And when you hear some of the stuff that he says, he's going to come off like he's not being a dub S or a racist, but he says certain things that will allude you to say that he definitely is. I mean, we already pretty much got that from when he went on his little rant with the Batman. He's doing the same thing here. But what makes this worse is when he went in on the Batman, he was going in on adults. You know, all these people that he was talking about were over the age of 18 or 21, however you want to put it. But I believe that she is a minor. I believe she is a minor. She is indeed a minor. I just had to pause it right quick again and look it up. She is only 12. I believe she's only 12 or 13. Because it said, according to her bio, she was born in 2009. So let's see, 2009 and 2019, she's 10, 20, 11, 21. Yeah. So she's about to turn 13 or she is 13. Imagine a grown ass man of any background going in on a 13-year-old girl the way that she is, the way that he is. I should say she is, because he is acting like a little bitch about this. But enough of me talking about that. Let me go ahead and start playing the audio, because he goes right into his little rant. He doesn't waste any time with no fluff. He goes right into it.
People love in current day Hollywood. You can almost guarantee that it's going to be infested with woke nonsense. You can almost guarantee that they're going to take one or several pre-established characters and change them for identity politics, virtue signal with them, whether it's a race swap, a gender swap, a sexuality swap, do something completely empty and meaningless in order to satisfy the woke crowd. But when the
there he goes with that woke word. What did I tell you? To satisfy the woke crowd. And listen to how he talks. He's doing the whole Ben Shapiro thing. Why is it a lot of these pipsqueak looking Poindexter PC men who are into stuff like this always talk with that same squeaky voice, sped up, almost like the chipmunky. You know how you fast forward the tape on a VHS back in the day and you can hear that's what he sounds like.
Creators involved in the casting decisions, in the story decisions, all these things, you would think that maybe you'd be safe from that. But in the case of Rick Riordan, that is absolutely not the case with the Percy Jackson show. Disney breaks their Percy Jackson promise, race swaps Grover and Annabeth. And even if you are a fan of the Percy Jackson series, you probably have no idea who these three people are, because they don't resemble the people that would be in the Percy Jackson series. It doesn't look like Annabeth, Grover, and Percy, but this is what we've come to expect from Disney, whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV series, whatever. This is Disney at this point. But the reason I said I thought that the creator, Rick Riordan, might have a problem with it is because he was so outspoken about how much he hated the fact that when Disney made the movies without his consultation, right, just because he gave them the rights, when they made those movies, they tore it apart. It was like putting it through a meat grinder, because they destroyed what he put down on paper. So you would think he would care about something like how accurate the characters are. But no, apparently that's not the case. Because if you've read Rick Riordan after the Percy Jackson series, after he wrote a 5-book series that got very popular, that had essentially no identity politics, after that point, he very slowly and subtly started sliding things in there. And it's because that's who Rick Riordan is. He's extremely woke and obsessed with identity politics.
There he goes again with that word woke. He's going to use that word a lot. Thing about Ryan Kinel, he uses the word woke a lot in his video. He misuses it, like many PC individuals have come to do over the years. I'm telling you, they bastardized the hell out of that word. They literally took it, repackaged it, bastardized it, and then they put it out there. And then it's unfortunate that you have a lot of black people that took on their adopted definition of it and use it against other black people. It's crazy.
If you don't believe that, all you have to do is go through his thread a little bit, see some of the things that he's commented on, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. Unfortunately, he has done the same thing with the characters he's already created. Yeah, fine, no problem. Let's race swap them. Good to go, because that is current day Hollywood. That's entertainment. And he is totally fine with race swapping one of his characters for the sake of identity politics. The Walt Disney Company continued to show their true colors as they broke another one of their promises with the race swapping.
Now, before I go any further, it's something I just picked up on what he just said. He said they decided to race swap one of their characters, but he just got mad that they race swapped two of them, but now he's narrowed it down to one. Can you guess which one he's mad at the most? Keep in mind, two of them got race swapped. Him and her. But then he narrowed it down to one. Can you guess which one he's mad at the most? Look at my cursor. What is it circling over? Let me continue.
Annabeth Chase and Grover Underwood for the upcoming Disney Plus series. Now, when it comes to Grover, now this is, and before I even get into this, for the actors and actresses involved, I have nothing against them. I'm not even going to talk about them in this. This is simply about the casting decisions and the decisions made by Rick Riordan and Disney to go ahead and race swap these characters.
Now, he says that he had to give a disclaimer that this has nothing to do with the actors and actresses that he's about to address as far as the casting decision that they decided to make when it came to them being cast in these roles. That's the contradiction right there. That's the beginning of it, because after that, that's when the contradiction begins. It's already began, but now he's about to really lean into it.
A big fan base. When it comes to Grover, I don't believe, and they even go through this, in the description, it never really gives a skin tone or anything like that to Grover, although all of the illustrations did show Grover as white. That is a fact. You can't deny that when you look at all the supplementary material. That has now changed. They found a different person to play Grover. But to be honest, the Annabeth casting is extremely off the mark, because there are several descriptions of exactly what Annabeth looks like, down to her skin tone and her.
So he looked at the description of the character, or the picture of the character Grover, decided that the character is white based on how it's drawn, and he really has nothing to say about it. Remember, he said he went from talking about two characters then to one. We already knew he was going to leave this one alone and literally hone in on this one. Keep in mind, Ryan Kinel is like around my age. She's 13 or about to turn 13. Just saying.
Her hair color. But no, that's not going to work in this case, because we need to make it good for current day Hollywood. And I'm Rick Riordan, and I'm such a woke loser. I will
He used woke again. I swear he used the word woke like 4 times already, and we're only like 3.5 minutes into the video. Or to the audio, I should say.
Happily race swap these characters and show just how woke I am. While the description does not mention his race or skin color, an official graphic novel adaptation, the first novel, published by Disney's Hyperion Books, depicts him as white, talking about Grover. This isn't the first time Grover's been race swapped. In the live action one in 2010, it's on portrayed by Brandon T. Jackson. However, this is the first time they race swapped Annabeth Chase. Riordan describes Annabeth in the book. The last thing I remember is collapsing on a wooden porch, looming up at the ceiling fan above me, moths flying around a yellow light, and stern faces of a familiar-looking bearded man and a pretty girl. Her blonde hair curled like a princess's. They both looked down at the time, and the girl said, "He's the one. He must be." Later in the novel, Riordan wrote, "She was probably my age, maybe a couple of inches taller, and a whole lot more athletic looking. With her deep tan and curly blonde hair, she was almost exactly what I thought a stereotypical California girl would look like, except her eyes. They were startlingly gray." I will say this. It seems like they're going for a much deeper tan.
Did y'all hear that? Now, the author of the book, name is Rick Riordan, was describing how the character looks, as she had a deep tan, with gray eyes, and she had blonde hair. And I'm looking at the illustration, and in the way that she's drawn, she could almost be a melanated individual, just with blonde hair, like from the illustration that I'm looking at. But notice here what I'm gonna run that back just a little bit so you can hear that.
Deep tan and curly blonde hair, she was almost exactly what I thought a stereotypical California girl would look like, except her eyes. They were startlingly gray. I will say this. It seems like they're going for a much deeper tan than Rick Riordan described in his.
I would say this. They are going for a much deeper tan than Rick Riordan described in his book. There. He just said it. And he can't even bring himself to say that they made her black. Now I have to go back just a little bit. Now he is aware that they race swapped the Grover character from how he looks in the book with Brandon T. Jackson. And of course we all know Brandon T. Jackson is a black man. He's like the same complexion as me. And now they have another actor, and he doesn't look black. He looks like he could be from a Muslim Arab background. I'm not sure that's what he looks, could be here. Notice he didn't have all the smoke for the Grover character, but he had all the smoke for the female character. So now it's almost like he's bullying this black girl. Now here's the thing about another hole in Ryan Kinel's little rant. In the original Percy Jackson movie, the actress who portrayed Annabeth, her name is Samantha Daddario. I want to say that she's of Italian descent because of that last name. I could be wrong. But the way that she looked in that movie is no way how she is described in the book. Now, remember, the book says she has a deep tan with blonde hair. Remember when I described to you, I said she looked like she had some melanin in her. Well, Samantha Daddario does not have a deep tan. She has like dark colored eyes and has dark brunette hair. Notice Ryan Kinel did not point that out. He left that alone because you know why? Because all he saw was her white skin. But wait, the book says she had a deep tan. That's not white skin. Last I checked. If anything, this girl right here is a lot closer to the character she's been cast as. She just doesn't have blonde hair. I don't know if this is how they're gonna have the characters looking in the show, but she has braids. Now, I'm telling you, Ryan is probably not going to mention Samantha anywhere in his rant. And I just told you how she looked in the movie. Y'all can go and look that up. Like, go and type Percy Jackson, or if you've seen the movie Percy Jackson, you already know how she looks. She doesn't even fit the description based on what the author of the book described. And he magically left that out of his rant. Just saying, we're at the 4:41 mark, so we got couple more minutes.
Books. And the whole thing is, Rick Riordan's behind this. He is completely saying, this is exactly what I thought these characters would look like. Listen to this. Author Rick Riordan fully endorses the race swaps. Discussing the casting on his website, he wrote, in his auditions for Grover, Arian, I don't know if his name is Arian or not, won our hearts. He had me laughing out loud with his delivery and timing. Grover has some big flying shoes to fill, but he's exactly the right guy for it. He and Walker already have a great dynamic together. But then when it comes to Annabeth, out of all the talented actors we looked for the role, Leah Jeffries quickly became my #1 choice for Annabeth. She's exactly the way I imagine Annabeth in the books. Smart, strong, and courageous, a true daughter of Athena. I saw Annabeth Chase come to life. The wise girl has arrived. Obviously, this is not how you describe these characters in the books. Maybe some personality traits for sure, but definitely not the way that they appeared. And you were very clear to list how they appeared. A typical California girl, blonde hair, white skin with a deep tan. That's what you're saying in your books. No, it doesn't matter. And I really liked the Percy Jackson series when it came out. I did. I think the first one came out in 2005. It was a little younger than me. I was not necessarily the target audience. I would have been about 16. And these books were probably geared for around, like to 12, 13-year-olds. But I really got into the world that he created. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fun. I hated the movies when they came out because they didn't stick to the books. And the fact that Rick Riordan was supposed to be involved with this, I thought that maybe he'd do the right thing. But I should have known that the woke mind virus will infest.
There it is again. That's like the 5th time he said the word woke. The woke mind virus. I can't, y'all. And y'all, this is supposed to be the superior, quote unquote, race, right? They're supposed to be so much superior. Imagine if he was their leader. Man, let me continue. Let me keep going.
Everybody, and it infested Rick Riordan. He wrote a series that, in my opinion, was basically completely free of any identity politics in the Percy Jackson series. In subsequent series, what he did do, even though these are geared for teens, effectively, he started introducing...
Exactly, for teens, meaning outside of your age demographic, Ryan. So why are you so upset about it? And by the way, before this video ends, because we only got like a minute left, let me just put this in here. apparently the Rick Riordan guy and even some people of the cast of the movies got wind of what this guy was saying, because, you know, Ryan Kinel has a pretty good following. They came out and, you know, in articles and interviews and was basically saying they're standing by their decision to cast this girl in this role, and if people are upset about it, then it's just on them. They were talking about him. Those were like subliminal shots at him, or whatever they had to say towards him, you know, about what his rant was. It was towards him, because as far as I know, he is the only one that made a big deal about this. No one else really cared. Either they're going to watch this or they're not. But the thing is, Ryan makes his bones off of these types of commentaries all the time. Like, you can just go look at his laundry list of videos he's done, and you just peep how many times he puts woke on the thumbnail or woke in the title. You already know where he's headed with it. He's one of those guys. And then it's someone who calls him out on it, says something, then he'll probably insert his token somewhere. Some of you know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't even have to say their name. Y'all know exactly who I'm referring to. Some of y'all probably looking at the video right now and probably typing it in the chat. But if not, I'll help you out. Their initials are YR. There. I hope you figured it out now. But let me go ahead and knock out the rest of this last minute here.
Characters struggling with coming out with their sexuality. He started introducing transgender characters, got into gender ideology and things like that. That's just what happened as he became more popular and was able to slip these things in with it already having mainstream appeal. But I guess the final story is that this Percy Jackson series, if you thought that maybe it was going to stick to the books even with the author being involved, unfortunately, we were mistaken. Let me know what you think about.
He thought because the author was involved with this that it would actually stay the exact same as it was in the books. But the thing is, like, it's stressful sometimes. I don't get myself worked up over something like this. I might actually check this out, because like I said, I actually like the original Percy Jackson movie and films. I did. I had nothing wrong with it. It was nothing to me wrong with the movie. And you know what? I was actually wrong about the release of the year. The first Percy Jackson movie did come out in 2005. I thought that it came out in 2010. I don't know why I thought it came out in 2010, but it did come out in 2005. Oh, I'm lying. I was right. 2010. I was lying. 2010. I was typing it into Google. As I was looking it up. So Ryan Kinel, he had that year all wrong. He was 5 years off. Yeah, the first one came out in 2010, and the second one came out in 2013, which was called Sea of Monsters. So yeah, but that's who Ryan Kinel is. I've done a video about him before with the Batman and his little rant about that, and now I am here doing this one. The only difference is when he did his little Batman rant, I didn't play the whole video. I just played that part. But this one, that's all he talked about in this whole video, was making sure that he honed in on her. He was that upset that this black girl was cast in a part that he felt was for a blonde-haired, deep-tanned white female. Imagine a grown man in his 30s who looks like he's more in his 40s than anything, being mad at the casting of a little black girl that could probably be one of the roles that could change the trajectory of her career. Amazing, y'all. But that's my take on it. Y'all let me know what you think.